Fixing a broken life might be as simple as following 5 rules from history's greatest swordsman, Miyamoto Musashi. These principles, which helped Musashi rise from despair and become one of the most revered samurai in Japanese history, could also serve as a guide for anyone struggling with their own challenges. By examining his life, we can find a blueprint for overcoming adversity, achieving personal growth, and building resilience when life seems to be falling apart. Musashi is best known for his undefeated record in 61 duels, and his martial and strategic skills are legendary. But his story is more than just one of combat victories. It's also a tale of personal transformation, mental discipline, and spiritual growth. Musashi lived through some of the most turbulent times in Japanese history, and he used these 5 rules to pull himself up from rock bottom and reach the pinnacle of success. His journey offers us lessons that are just as applicable today as they were in the 1600s. Rule #1, accept life as it is. The first of Musashi's rules sounds deceptively simple. Accept life as it is. But this seemingly basic principle holds incredible power, especially when your world has collapsed. Imagine Musashi as a 17-year-old in 1600. He fought in one of Japan's most pivotal battles, the Battle of Sekigahara, which decided the fate of the nation. Musashi was on the losing side, his clan was destroyed, and the old world he knew was gone overnight. This wasn't just a defeat, it was the loss of everything: his family, his sense of belonging, and his future prospects. For many, such a moment could lead to despair, denial, or even an unwillingness to continue living. But Musashi didn't let this tragedy break him. Instead, he embraced the hard truth of his new reality. He didn't waste energy wishing things were different or fantasizing about a different outcome. Instead, he accepted the situation for what it was. This acceptance was his first step toward recovery and transformation. Why is acceptance so important in overcoming adversity? Because it allows you to stop resisting reality. The more you fight against what's already happened, the more you suffer. Denial, anger, and regret only keep you stuck in the past, unable to move forward. By accepting what has happened, no matter how painful, you regain the ability to act in the present. Let's bring this concept into the modern world. Imagine your life has just taken a major blow. Maybe you've lost your job, your relationship has fallen apart, or a dream you've been working toward for years has crumbled. It's natural to feel crushed by the weight of disappointment. But if you continue to resist reality, saying this isn't fair or this shouldn't have happened, you end up in a mental loop of suffering. Acceptance, on the other hand, liberates you from this loop. It's not about giving up or resigning yourself to misery. It's about acknowledging the facts and taking the first step toward rebuilding. Musashi's story teaches us that even when life as we know it is over, there's always the potential for a new beginning. He didn't view his defeat as the end, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. By accepting the new circumstances, he shifted his mindset from a why me to a what now. That simple shift gave him the clarity and focus to take the next steps toward his eventual success. The lesson here is clear. When life throws you into chaos, acceptance is the first step toward regaining control. Once you stop fighting the old reality, you can begin building a new one. Acceptance is not passive. It's an active decision to move forward despite the pain. Rule #2. Do not chase pleasure to escape pain. The second rule Musashi lived by is a warning against the tempting trap of escapism. Do not chase pleasure to escape pain. This rule addresses a common reaction when life falls apart. When we're in pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, the urge to escape that pain is overwhelming. It's human nature to seek comfort, and in today's world, comfort is just a click away. Whether it's binge-watching TV shows, scrolling endlessly through social media, or indulging in food and drink. Musashi's time, of course, was much different, but the principle remains the same. After his defeat, Musashi could have sought an easy life. He could have found comfort in wealth or status, attaching himself to a powerful lord for protection and a cushy position. Instead, Musashi chose the harder path. He embraced a life of minimalism and discipline, wandering as a ronin, a masterless samurai, and dedicating himself to honing his skills through hardship. In modern terms, Musashi's warning is about not falling into the trap of quick fixes. Today, it's easy to drown your sorrows in distractions. whether through mindless entertainment, unhealthy habits, or material possessions. These might provide temporary relief, but they don't address the root of your suffering. In fact, they often make things worse. Like drinking salt water when you're thirsty, chasing pleasure when you're in pain only leaves you feeling emptier in the long run. Musashi understood that true growth requires enduring discomfort. He intentionally subjected himself to hardship, knowing that by doing so, he was forging a stronger, more resilient version of himself. He chose discipline over indulgence because he knew that comfort would only dull his edge. In today's world, this might mean resisting the urge to retreat into easy pleasures when things get tough. Instead, you can choose to face your challenges head-on and use them as opportunities for growth. Think about a time in your own life when you've been tempted to avoid discomfort. Maybe you've put off difficult conversations, avoided taking risks, or distracted yourself from the problems that needed your attention. While these avoidance strategies might offer short-term relief, they prevent you from making the progress you need. Musashi's second rule is a reminder that escaping into pleasure is a dead end. It's only through confronting discomfort that we can truly heal and move forward. Rule #3. Control your emotions. Don't act on impulse. The third rule in Musashi's guide to rebuilding a broken life is about emotional mastery. Control your emotions. Don't act on impulse. When life is shattered, emotions can become overwhelming. Anger, sadness, frustration, and fear can flood your mind, and in such a state, it's easy to make impulsive decisions that you later regret. Musashi, however, believed that emotions, especially those felt in moments of crisis, were not to be trusted when making important decisions. Musashi's famous duel with Sasaki Kojiro provides a perfect example of this rule in action. During this duel, Musashi deliberately arrived late, causing Kojiro to become infuriated. By the time the duel began, Kojiro was so consumed with anger that he made rash mistakes. Musashi, however, remained calm, strategic, and in control of his emotions. This emotional self-control allowed Musashi to win the duel with a single, decisive strike. In moments of crisis, our emotions can cloud our judgment. Acting impulsively, whether out of anger, fear, or sadness, often leads to decisions that make the situation worse. For example, you might lash out at someone in anger, quit your job in frustration, or make a drastic life change in a moment of despair. These decisions made in the heat of emotion often lead to regret. Musashi's third rule encourages us to pause before acting on strong emotions. When you're at rock bottom, your emotions are likely to be intense, but Musashi advises that you shouldn't let them dictate your actions. Instead, take a step back, let the emotions settle, and allow reason to guide your next move. This approach can prevent you from making impulsive decisions that could deepen the hole you're already in. In today's world, emotional self-control is more important than ever. With the constant stream of information and social media, it's easy to get caught up in emotional reactions. Whether it's anger over a comment online, frustration with a work situation, or anxiety about the future, the ability to control your emotions can make the difference between a productive response and a destructive one. Musashi's rule teaches us that by mastering our emotions, we regain the clarity needed to make wise decisions, even in the most difficult times. Rule #4. Gain perspective. Don't obsess over yourself. Musashi's fourth rule takes the focus off of ourselves. Don't obsess over yourself. Gain perspective. When life shatters, it's easy to become consumed by your own pain. The world seems to shrink, and your problems feel like the center of the universe. But Musashi reminds us that there is a much bigger world beyond our personal struggles, and by shifting our focus outward, we can gain the perspective needed to move forward. Musashi could have easily fallen into the trap of self-pity after his defeat at Sekigahara. Instead, he spent the years that followed expanding his understanding of the world. He studied not only swordsmanship, but also philosophy, calligraphy, and painting. By doing so, he gained a broader perspective on life and found meaning beyond his own immediate circumstances. In today's world, gaining perspective can mean many things. It might mean stepping outside of your comfort zone to help others, learning new skills, or simply taking time to appreciate the beauty of nature. When we shift our focus away from our own problems, we often realize that they are not as insurmountable as they first appeared. We also begin to see that others around us are facing their own challenges. sometimes even greater than ours. This shift in focus can help us break free from the cycle of self-obsession and negative thinking. One of the ways to gain perspective is through service to others. When we focus on helping others, whether through volunteering, supporting a friend, or offering kindness, we begin to see that our own problems, while important, are just one part of a much larger picture. This doesn't mean that our pain is insignificant, but it does help us put it into context. By seeing the bigger picture, we can stop obsessing over our own struggles and start looking for solutions, both for ourselves and for those around us. Musashi's approach to gaining perspective also involved seeking knowledge from multiple disciplines. He understood that being too narrowly focused could lead to stagnation. By broadening his horizons and learning from other fields, he was able to deepen his understanding of life. For us, this might mean stepping outside our usual routines or exploring new interests. When we learn new things, we gain fresh insights that can help us see our problems from a different angle. In modern times, gaining perspective might also involve stepping back from the constant barrage of information and opinions that come at us from social media and the news. It's easy to become trapped in an echo chamber where our views and experiences are constantly reinforced, making it hard to see beyond our own situation. Taking a break from this cycle and seeking out diverse viewpoints can provide the clarity and balance needed to overcome challenges. By stepping outside of ourselves and gaining perspective, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We begin to see that life's struggles are not the end, but rather part of a larger journey. Musashi's fourth rule teaches us that by looking beyond ourselves, we can find the strength to keep going, even when life feels overwhelming. Rule #5. Embrace death. Accept your mortality. Musashi's final rule may sound harsh, but it carries profound wisdom. Embrace death. Accept your mortality. For Musashi, the acceptance of death was not a morbid obsession, but rather a way of freeing himself from fear. By acknowledging the inevitability of death, he was able to live more fully and courageously. This principle, while rooted in the samurai culture of Musashi's time, has deep relevance for anyone facing significant life challenges today. The fear of death, or the fear of failure, can be paralyzing. When we fear the worst possible outcome, whether it's literal death, the death of a dream, or the loss of something we hold dear, we often hold back. We become hesitant to take risks, to move forward, or to fully commit to our goals. Musashi believed that by accepting death as an inevitable part of life, we can liberate ourselves from this fear and act with greater clarity and purpose. Embracing death, in a modern sense, doesn't mean fixating on dying. Instead, it's about accepting that loss, failure, and endings are part of the human experience. When we stop fearing these things, we gain the freedom to take bold action. Musashi's fearlessness in battle wasn't because he had no regard for his life. It was because he had already accepted that death was a possibility, and thus he wasn't afraid to give his all. This principle applies not only to physical death, but also to the many deaths we experience throughout life, the end of relationships, the loss of jobs, or the failure of projects we care deeply about. By accepting that these losses are part of the journey, we can stop fearing them and start living more authentically. We can take risks, pursue our passions, and face challenges head-on, knowing that even if we fail, we have the strength to rebuild and start again. In today's world, many of us avoid thinking about death or failure because they make us uncomfortable. But Musashi teaches us that embracing these realities can actually make us stronger. When we no longer fear failure, we're free to pursue our goals with determination and courage. We can live more fully because we're no longer held back by the what-if-say that so often keep us stuck. Musashi's final rule reminds us that life is fleeting and that by accepting this, we can find the courage to face whatever comes our way. Whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of loss, or the fear of death, we can learn to embrace these aspects of life and move forward with strength and resilience. Applying Musashi's 5 rules to your life, Musashi's 5 rules offer a powerful framework for rebuilding a broken life. They provide not only a guide for overcoming adversity, but also a philosophy for living with purpose and intention. By accepting life as it is, resisting the urge to escape into pleasure, controlling our emotions, gaining perspective, and embracing the inevitability of death, we can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and resilience. If you find yourself at a low point, these rules can help you regain control and start the process of rebuilding. Here's how you can apply each of Musashi's 5 rules to your own life. 1. Accept life as it is. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to deny or fight against reality. Accept the situation for what it is and focus on what you can do next. Acceptance is the first step toward moving forward. 2. Do not chase pleasure to escape pain. When you're feeling down, it's tempting to seek comfort in distractions or unhealthy habits. But these quick fixes only provide temporary relief. Instead, focus on long-term solutions and personal growth, even if it means enduring discomfort in the short term. 3. Control your emotions. Don't act on impulse. In moments of crisis, emotions can cloud your judgment. Take time to let your emotions settle before making important decisions. Acting impulsively can often make things worse. 4. Gain perspective. Don't obsess over yourself. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to become consumed by your own problems. Try to shift your focus outward. Help others. Learn new things and see the bigger picture. This can give you the clarity and balance you need to overcome your challenges. 5. Embrace death. Accept your mortality. Don't let the fear of failure or loss hold you back. Accept that life is full of endings and that these endings are part of the journey. By embracing this truth, you can live more courageously and pursue your goals with greater determination. These 5 rules are not just about surviving hardship, they're about thriving in the face of it. Musashi's life teaches us that even in the darkest of times, there is always a way forward. By following his example, you can find the strength to rebuild, grow, and emerge stronger than ever. In conclusion, Musashi's rules are a testament to the power of resilience, discipline, and personal growth. His story reminds us that life's greatest challenges can also be our greatest opportunities for transformation. Whether you're facing a broken life, a broken dream, or simply feeling lost, these 5 rules can help guide you toward a brighter future. They teach us that even when everything seems to be falling apart, we have the power to rebuild, to rise, and to thrive.